The alarm buzzed at 6:30 a.m., but Maya Rivera was already awake. She'd been lying in bed for an hour, staring at the ceiling, rehearsing answers to interview questions in her head. It had been years since she'd worn heels or printed a resume. Being a full-time single mom to 5-year-old twin girls didn't exactly leave time for corporate life. But today, that could all change. Ella, time to get up," she called, forcing cheer into her voice. Two sleepy faces peeked out from under matching unicorn blankets. "Do you have your big meeting today, Mommy?" Emma mumbled, rubbing her eyes. Maya smiled. "That's right, so I need you two to be my good luck charms, okay?" The girls giggled and chanted their morning mantra, "Strong like Mommy." It was silly, but the words grounded her. The twins had no idea how hard she worked to keep their world safe and bright, how many nights she'd cried quietly after they were asleep, wondering if she'd ever get a second chance at life. After dropping them at daycare, Maya parked outside the tall glass building that gleamed like something out of another world. The silver letters on the facade read Henderson and Company. She smoothed her blazer, checked her reflection, and whispered, "You've got this." The lobby was sleek and modern, filled with the scent of coffee and faint notes of expensive cologne. "Good morning," the receptionist said pleasantly. "You're here for the marketing executive interview?" "Yes, Maya Rivera." "Wonderful. Mr. Henderson will see you shortly." Maya froze at the name. Henderson. It tugged at something buried deep in her memory. But it couldn't be. Ethan Henderson was halfway across the world. Last she'd heard, he'd gone to London to open a branch of some firm. There must be plenty of Hendersons in the city. Still, the name stirred a flutter in her chest she tried to suppress. When her name was called, she followed the assistant down a quiet hallway. The door at the end opened, and her heart stopped. Behind the polished oak desk sat Ethan Henderson. Time slowed. He looked almost the same, only sharper, confidence replacing the boyish charm he used to have. His gray eyes, once her favorite thing about him, widened in disbelief. "Maya." His voice was low, stunned. Her knees nearly gave out. "Ethan." For a moment, the room was silent except for the faint hum of the city below. He stood, recovering quickly. "Please, have a seat." Maya sat, her pulse pounding in her ears. What were the odds? Of all the companies, all the interviews, she had walked straight into his. He glanced at her resume, his composure masking whatever storm brewed inside. "It's been a long time." 6 years, she said quietly. "I didn't know you were back." "Yeah, moved home 2 years ago to take over the company." Maya forced a polite smile. "Congratulations." The professional facade held, but the air between them was thick with unspoken things. The last time she'd seen him, they were standing in an airport terminal, her trying not to cry while he promised to call. He never did. Now, sitting across from him, Maya wondered if fate had a cruel sense of humor. Ethan began the interview, voice calm, almost too neutral. "Tell me about your recent work experience." She focused on the paper in front of her. "I've spent the last few years freelancing as a marketing consultant for small businesses. Digital campaigns, brand strategy, social media engagement." He nodded. "Impressive. And before that, I worked at Nolan Media as an assistant marketing manager." His expression softened slightly. "I remember how passionate you were about that job." Maya looked down, pretending to fix her blazer. "That was a long time ago." The rest of the interview went smoothly, at least on the surface. But every question felt like walking a tightrope over memories. The late-night talks, the laughter, the plans that never came true. Finally, Ethan closed her file. "Thank you for coming in. We'll be in touch." She stood, relieved it was over. "Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Henderson." He hesitated before replying, his gaze flicking to hers. "Maya." Her hand paused on the door handle. He looked almost uncertain. "Why didn't you ever call?" "After I came back." She stiffened. "You didn't exactly reach out either. I thought you moved on." "I did what I had to do." She opened the door before her voice could shake. "Goodbye, Ethan." Outside, she exhaled sharply, trying to steady herself. She had no room for the past, especially not him. But later that evening, after she picked up the twins and settled them into bed, her phone buzzed with an email. Greater than subject. Job interview follow-up. "Dear Ms. Rivera, congratulations. We'd like to offer you the position. Ethan Henderson, CEO." Her stomach flipped. He had chosen her, out of dozens of candidates. Was it because she was qualified, or because he still felt something? She almost declined. Almost. But the offer was too good, and her daughters needed her to be practical, not emotional. She typed a brief, professional acceptance and hit send. On her first day, Ethan greeted her with the same formal politeness. Yet, every meeting, every accidental brush of his hand when passing papers across the table, sent old feelings flickering back to life. One evening, as she gathered her things, Ethan appeared at her door. "You're still here, just finishing up a report." He hesitated, then stepped closer. "Maya, there's something I need to ask." She looked up warily. "I heard you have kids." Her chest tightened. "Yes, twins." His eyes softened. "How old?" 5. Something changed in his expression, confusion, shock, then dawning realization. 5, he repeated slowly. "Maya, we last saw each other 6 years ago." She swallowed hard, saying nothing. His breath caught. "Are they mine?" Tears stung her eyes, but she held his gaze. "You were gone. I tried to reach you, Ethan, but your number changed, your email bounced. I decided not to chase a man who didn't want to be found." He stepped closer, voice cracking. "I didn't know. God, Maya, if I'd known." She shook her head. "It doesn't matter now. They're my world, and they're happy. That's enough." Ethan's eyes glistened. "Maybe it's not too late. I want to know them. And I want to make things right, with you." For a moment, silence filled the room, heavy, hopeful. Maya took a trembling breath. "You hurt me once, Ethan. I can't promise anything." "I'm not asking for promises," he said softly. "Just a chance." Her heart warred with her head. Then, quietly, she said, "We'll see." Ethan smiled. Not the confident CEO smile, but the boy she once loved. "That's all I need." And for the first time in years, Maya felt something stir in her chest, not fear, not regret, but the faint spark of possibility. The morning sun crept through the blinds, landing on a stack of printed resumes and half-empty coffee cups. Maya Rivera sat at her tiny kitchen table, reviewing her notes for the 10th time. Across the room, her twin daughters, Emma and Ella, were arguing over who got the pink spoon. She smiled faintly. "Girls, remember, Mommy has an important meeting today. So be good for Miss Clara, okay?" Both turned, cereal-streaked faces brightening. "We'll be strong like Mommy." They chimed. That simple phrase was their thing, a small reminder that even on the toughest days, Maya could handle anything. After the twins were safely dropped off at daycare, Maya drove downtown. It had been years since she'd worked in a real office, before everything fell apart, before she became a mother alone. Now, she had one shot at a stable job at Henderson & Company, one of the city's top marketing firms. The building was intimidating. Glass walls, polished marble, and people who looked like they had never missed a night's sleep. She checked her reflection in the lobby mirror, dark curls pinned neatly, soft makeup, professional but not overdone. "I'm here for the marketing executive interview," she told the receptionist. "Of course, Ms. Rivera. Mr. Henderson will see you in 15 minutes. Mr. Henderson. The name tugged faintly at her memory, but she brushed it off. Henderson was a common name. When the assistant finally led her to the CEO's office, Maya took a deep breath, ready to prove herself. But when the door opened, the world stopped. Behind the mahogany desk sat Ethan Henderson, tall, confident, with the same storm-gray eyes she had tried to forget. Her breath caught. "Ethan." His pen slipped from his hand. "Maya." For a heartbeat, neither moved. He finally gestured for her to sit, voice low. "Please, have a seat." She did, every muscle tight, her mind spinning. Of all the companies in the city, fate had brought her here. Back to him. Ethan's gaze flicked to her resume, though he seemed more focused on her face than the words on the page. "So, you're applying for the executive role?" "Yes." She forced professionalism into her tone. "I have 5 years of experience in marketing strategy and digital campaigns." "I know," he said softly, almost wistful. "You were always good at what you did." She blinked. "Let's keep this professional, please." He cleared his throat and resumed the interview, his questions measured but his eyes filled with questions he didn't dare ask. When it was over, she stood quickly. "Thank you for your time, Mr. Henderson." He hesitated. "Maya." She turned. "Why didn't you ever reach out?" Her voice trembled, but she steadied it. "Because you left, Ethan. You made your choice." And with that, she walked out, leaving him staring after her, stunned and silent. That night, after she tucked the girls into bed, her phone buzzed. Greater than from Ethan Henderson. Subject: job interview. Congratulations, Ms. Rivera. We'd like to offer you the position. Maya stared at the screen, heart pounding. He had chosen her, again. But this time, she wasn't sure if that was a blessing or a curse. Part 2: The Reveal. 3 weeks later, Maya had settled into her new role. Ethan kept things professional, though his presence lingered, a quiet tension that followed her in meetings, in passing glances, in the way he sometimes said her name like it still meant something. One evening, as most employees filed out, Ethan stopped by her office. "You're still here." She looked up from her laptop. Finishing the quarterly report, he leaned against the doorway, watching her with an unreadable expression. "You've done good work. Everyone's noticed. Thank you." A pause. Then, softly, "You've changed." "So have you," she replied. He smiled faintly. "I had to. Running this place will do that to you." There was a long silence. Then, as if pulled by something he couldn't resist, Ethan asked, "Do you have a family?" Maya froze. "Why do you ask? I heard someone mention you have kids." She hesitated, then nodded. "I do. Twins." His eyes widened. "Twins." She swallowed. 5 years old. For a second, neither spoke, the truth hanging between them, heavy and fragile. Ethan's voice broke first. 5 years old, he repeated quietly. "Maya, we last saw each other 6 years ago." Her breath caught. "Are they?" He didn't finish the question. Maya's hands trembled slightly. "You left for London," she whispered. "You said you'd call, but you didn't. I found out I was pregnant a month later. I tried to reach you, Ethan, your number changed, your email bounced. I thought you'd moved on." "So I did too." He looked shattered. "I never got your messages. My father took over all correspondence while I was abroad. I didn't even know you'd tried." Her eyes filled with tears she refused to shed. "It doesn't matter now. I built a life for them. They don't need anyone else." Ethan stepped closer, his voice breaking. "But I need to know them. Maya, please. I missed 5 years I can never get back. At least let me try to be part of their lives." Maya turned away, hugging her arms around herself. "You can't just walk back in like nothing happened. I spent years learning to be enough for them." He nodded slowly. "Then let me be enough for you now." Her heart ached. "Ethan." He took a breath. "I know I don't deserve a second chance. But I've never stopped thinking about you. And if those girls are mine, I'll spend the rest of my life proving I'm worthy of both you and them." Silence stretched between them, heavy with pain, hope, and a love that had never truly died. Finally, Maya whispered, "They're beautiful. You should meet them." Ethan's eyes glistened. "I'd like that, more than anything." The next weekend, he met the twins at the park. Emma was shy at first, hiding behind her sister, but Ella marched straight up and said, "Mommy says you're her boss." Ethan knelt, smiling gently. "I guess I am, but today, I'm just Ethan." The girls giggled, chasing each other through the grass while Maya watched from the bench, nervous, uncertain, but also strangely at peace. When Ethan sat beside her, she glanced at him. "You're good with them. I want to be," he said softly. "I missed everything, their first words, their birthdays, you." Maya looked down at her hands. "We can't rewrite the past." "No," he said, "but we can start over." For the first time, she didn't look away. "Maybe," she said, "one step at a time." He smiled, eyes full of promise. "That's all I need." As the twins laughed in the distance, Maya felt something she hadn't in years, hope. Maybe this time, fate wasn't playing a cruel joke. Maybe it was giving them a second chance to build the family they both lost and never stopped wanting.